I want to reflect on what Lou has mentioned. I think Singapore is a very interesting area because what inspired, I think, I mean, he's looking at the market niche and I think what inspired him or what inspires me is what I call a knowledge arbitrage or an opportunity arbitrage. So what I'm trying to say is, okay, you go, Singaporeans like to travel. You go travel to another country, you say, wait a minute, that restaurant is good. Why don't we have it in Singapore? That should be that inspiration, right? And that's the gap. Now the question is, how fast can you implement that, and can you actually successfully replicate that, or otherwise you look for a franchising opportunity if it's a restaurant. So I think it's a knowledge arbitrage or information arbitrage or an opportunity arbitrage. So that's really what happened, right? I started my healthcare company in Malaysia because I was in the US and I was living there, and I think, wait a minute, this is a great service. How come they don't offer this in my country or in other countries in Asia? And so it usually is a very innocent inspiration like that. And then, as I think all other entrepreneurs will realize, that there's like 20 tons of things that you got to figure out just to get above the hump and survive, right? How long can you survive without paying yourself a salary? How long can you survive? How do you explain to your wife if you're married, look, we're gonna suffer for a while because then you got an MBA. He goes, why do you get a job with a multinational? So I think those are risk appetites. But I agree, it's an arbitrage. And then you have to think, do I have the discipline, the resilience, and the adaptability to make through that? That's like the three things I tend to look at for myself and look at other entrepreneurs, because now we're investors. Do they have the discipline? Do they have the resilience? Because it's a guarantee entrepreneurs will fail. It's a guarantee. There's no such thing as, I have never heard of an entrepreneur that's, even in the first business, that they haven't suffered a lot of failures and a lot of learnings. But when you fail and learn, can you actually bounce back up, and can you adapt, and can you adjust? So I think that's really entrepreneurship for me. It's a learning journey, and it gets very lonely. Sometimes gets very scary, but I think as an entrepreneur, you'd also have to have an attitude of optimism. You're always thinking, yes, it can be done, right? Without that, there's oftentimes not a lot of cheerleaders around you. Usually, actually, there are a lot of naysayers.